welcome to the Springtime Westbourne and Brush Edition. Today we are going to make the welcome peep sign with the 3 little bunnies going down. So the first thing you'll see in your kit is all of your stencils, your transfer tape, your paintbrushes, and all of your paint. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the welcome, and this is going to be a little bit long. I wouldn't suggest cutting it quite yet, but what I would do is just be extra cautious with this. So, because you're going to need all this for your bunnies, but we don't need all of it for the welcome. So what you're going to do is you're going to face your welcome one up, the white side up, and you're going to put it on there, and you're going to have some extra, so just kind of hold it up in the air, the extra, and take anything hard that you can scrape it against, and to get the air bubbles out and to make sure that it's going to stick to our transfer tape. You could use a credit card, a library card, a butter knife will even work if you do it softly enough. Okay, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to flip it over. And what we're going to do is we're going to peel the back off. So you'll see it will say Oracle on it. You want to peel it off. You want to make sure the center of your O stays down. And then you'll have a welcome sign like this. So we'll still have the extra, but we'll have it stuck to our transfer tape. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line it up on here. And what I like to do is once this is stuck, it is stuck. So what I like to do is center it on here and start at the very top and leave some of it off the board so I can slide it down slowly and make sure that it kind of stays together. So you're going to want this pretty close to the top because we're going to have to fit our peeps on there yet. And then we're going to scrape, scrape, scrape to keep that on our board. And you can kind of eyeball it the best that you can, or you can measure it if you prefer to measure. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start peeling. I like to keep one hand down because this tape is very sticky. And what we're going to do is we're just going to peel it back slowly and keeping our hand on it just to make sure it doesn't come off of our board. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to set this off to the side for the peeps. So we want to make sure this is stuck on there good. We don't want any paint leaking out, so you don't want any bubbles around where the letters are. So far, you'll have your welcome like that. Okay. Then you're going to do your peeps. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this out, lay this on top. It up. So once you start smoothing this, it's really going to stick, so then you cannot pull it back up. So you kind of want to make sure you have it good the first time before you start doing this part. And we're going to flip it, and we're going to scrape it. So then we're going to peel the back off again. And we have a cute little bunny. Okay, so we have the sticky side going down here. And once again, you're gonna want this pretty high up. So what I like to do sometimes is just set it on there, don't scrape it. Put my peeps down here just so I can kind of see, turn this on its side. So I just gently lay this on so I can still move this, so as you can see. And then I leave my peeps down here still attached so that I can see where I want to put my bunnies. How high up I want them. So I think I'm going to move them down just a hair. A little more centered. Once again, if you are somebody that likes to measure, then this would be a good step for you to measure. So just kind of line it up with the ears between the L and the O. That helps you too. feel like I got that in a good spot, then we're gonna do the same method. You want to make sure you have no bubbles around the bunnies. If you have a bubble outside of the bunny, like over here, that's fine, because it's just wherever the paint's gonna go. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the peep sign. You can then cut this, or you can leave it big. I am going to cut mine down. Grab my scissors. I am going to leave mine down. Or cut mine down so that I don't have as much left over. So, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same method. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate this and just make sure, like with the other one, that your design stays down, the center of the piece stays down. So you kind of just fold it if you need to, or you can scrape the gift. So then what you're gonna do, same thing. I like to start at the bottom, make sure it's all about even, and then just slide it from there. Lifted a little bit, and that's totally fine because I can go back over it very slowly and just make sure all of my edges is nice and tight on here. Okay, so to start with Peony, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up, just because that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so for this one, you kind of just want to do one light coat over it first, just to establish your color. Any certain direction is fine. This paint is very thick, so just, then I'm gonna flip it around this way so that I can paint this side. This sideways here. So we got the welcome peeps part done. So now, your colors are gonna vary based off of what we have. I'm going to start with pink on the top, purple, and then yellow for mine. You can do whatever pattern you want. You can do them all pink, you can do them all purple, you can do them all yellow. It is totally up to you. So now that this has had time to, you're gonna let it dry just a little bit. You still want it to be wet so that we can go over it, but we want it to dry a little bit so that we can go back over the white. And then the pink, and then the purple and the yellow, so that the second coat will stick. It just won't keep smearing around the first coat. So we are gonna let this dry for a minute, and then we will come back. Okay, welcome back. We let that dry for a little bit. I have my other daughter here with me. Hi. Alright, okay, you go finish playing, and I'm right this way. Alright, so now we're gonna start our second coat. So I'm gonna let mine dry a little bit more before I put more on. I'm also gonna let the Welcome Peeps dry for another couple minutes before we peel that off. You wanna do a wet peel on those, so I will show you what that looks like. And then we can add our eyes and our noses to our thing. Okay, so welcome back. What we're gonna do is we're gonna peel the white off of our Welcome Peeps. So we're gonna peel the vinyl off of that. So I go nice and slow for this. Okay, so we set that off to the side. So as you can see, I still have the center of my Owen. I wait for that to dry, and at the top of my E, I had a little mishap there. So since it's still a little bit wet, I can wipe it with my finger. Otherwise, a trick that I found too is you get a Q-tip wet and you go around your mistake with that. But just be careful of your paint because you can end up smearing more of it. So for that one, I was just able to use my finger and correct it that way. So now for the peeps part. As you can see from my peeps, the P is still in the center. My S looks a little bumpy because it was on a knot. So I take it a little bumpy, but you know what? I feel like that adds just a little more character to my board. Okay, so the centers of our letters are ready to come out. I am going to use one of my Cricut tools that I have. You may use a toothpick, has worked really well in the past. Or anything sharp like tweezers. If you have some really sharp tweezers, that can help kind of get it. You just want something that can poke into the vinyl just a little bit, but not into your wood, and be able to pull it up. And once again, I let these be pretty much dry so that we don't risk getting paint on anything. Now I'm ready to take off my peeps vinyl. So I'm just going to lift that up again with a toothpick or something. The cutest little peeps on the side of the river. So another cute idea I have seen is you can take a tiny little white pom-pom and stick them on there. You can, and just not put a face on it. You can leave the face and put the pom-pom off to the side, whatever you may want. So this is what we have so far. We got our Welcome Peeps. Now we just need to add the eyes and the nose. So you should have a little bit of black in a container. You can use your toothpick. I'm going to use my pokey tool here to do this part. So then you just put a dot for the eyes. You can see the little eyes and the little nose there. But this is your sign. I keep mine outside. I just lean it up against my house. So if you are planning on leaving it outside, I sprayed with mine with a polyacrylic, and that way it could sit outside and be okay with the weather and the elements and everything that we have here in Iowa. Otherwise, if you want it inside, you don't have to treat it with anything. It should be okay. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for supporting me and my little side business here that I do through the library. We are looking into doing something for Mother's Day, so please watch the library's website for that so that you can get signed up for that, and that should be coming to you sometime in April. So with that, happy spring, and I hope we see you all back in April. Thank you.